Hi guys, and welcome back to a brand new match review here on the channel. My name is James, and today we're going to go ahead and sit down and talk to you guys about Reading's 5-2 away loss against Bolton Wanderers at the Toughsheet Community Stadium. That's right, the Royals were back in action, and after a torrid week, it was a torrid result for Reading as we fell to Bolton, who picks up their first home win of the season by winning the game by 5-2. Now, I gotta say, the performance in the second half from Reading was a lot better than the first half, and I think overall, really, I don't think 5-2 was a just scoreline, but overall, Bolton probably deserved to come out with a win. Now, in terms of the starting 11 for Reading today, we saw just two changes to the game where we lost 1-0 against Leyton Orient last week. David Button took back the #1 goalkeeper spot as he was the man in goal. We then saw Jarrell Dorset, Tyler Bindon, Amadou Mbenge and Michael Craig continue to make up the back four. We then saw a change in midfield as it was Lewis Wing, Ben Elliott and the returning Harvey Nibbs who made his first start of the season. Chem Campbell and Kelvin Ehibachiman were the two players out wide, while Sam Smith was once again the sole striker. Now for Bolton in this fixture, they saw a return to a formation which they haven't played much of this year. They saw the return of the 3-5-2, 5-3-2 formation with the wingbacks pushing very high up the pitch. And it had a lot of success last year versus Reading with a similar scoreline of a 5-2 loss just in April for Reading earlier this year at the exact same stadium. And yeah, the formation came back and the result went in Bolton's favour. Now the goal scoring kicked off in the 12th minute when Josh Sheehan was able to score a good free kick from outside the box. It came after a little bit of fortune, some poor defending from Reading who failed to clear a chance from Bolton. The ball bounced around for a long time before eventually Amadou Mbenge, I think it was, ended up fouling a Bolton man. They obviously then went on and had that free kick and struck it into the back of the net. Reading before that though could have easily been 1-0 down. A couple of smart and good saves from David Button prevented that from happening. Reading in the first 10-15 minutes I thought did really well with their press. I thought Reading's press high up the pitch was able to turn over some mistakes from Bolton in that first 15 minutes, and Reading had the chances but were just unable to really create anything. They had the ball in the final third, just weren't able to do anything at all. Bolton, though, just a couple of minutes later, then had a penalty, and Dion Charles was the man that stepped up and scored. He got fouled by Amadou Mbenge, who was riding the back of him. It was a bit of a soft penalty, but I can completely understand why it was given. Look, if it was in Reading's way, I would expect the penalty to be given that way. So I can't really have too many complaints about this penalty, but the referee on the day actually ended up giving 3 penalties. Now the ref himself was Seb Stockbridge, and I think overall he had a pretty poor game. He blew up for any foul that was being given for either side. Any little bit of breathing down the neck from any player, any little tiny bit of contact, the referee was blowing up a lot of the time. Now Bolton did end up making it 3-0 just after the 30th minute mark. Dion Charles ended up scoring once again. It was some really poor defending from Jarrell Dorset this time. Tyler Bindon ended up blocking a cross or a pass that ended up coming his way, and the ball fell to Jarrell Dorset. He's then booted it up in the air, and the ball's just not gone where he's wanted it to go. Bolton have managed to win the ball and go flying up the other, well, not the other end of the pitch, but flying further up the pitch. And Jarrell Dorset is slow as anything and is just jogging back like he did not have a care in the world. I thought Jarrell Dorset in this fixture was really, really poor, and it was actually a blessing in disguise when he came off injured, as I thought Reading significantly improved when Kelvin Abrafa came in at left back. I've got to say, I was really disappointed in Dorset. I think overall this season he's had a poor start to the year, and I think he's looked really sluggish and just slow overall. Anytime someone beats Jarrell Dorset and the ball's gone past him, there's not a hope in hell that Jarrell Dorset's ever going to win that back. A term that maybe Conor McGregor would use is stuck in the mud. It's just too slow. Now, obviously, Dion Charles ended up making it 3-0 there, scoring his second goal on the day. Reading did eventually get a goal back in the first half. Ben Elliott was the man that ended up scoring. He had a nice little finish in the 41st minute where he was able to find his first goal of the season. But unfortunately for Reading, with just a couple of minutes left of stoppage time in the first half, Bolton once again got another penalty. That was a quick throw-in from the Bolton man on the right-hand side. It was thrown in, and Victor Adebayo had enough shirt of Tyler Bindon, and Tyler Bindon, I have to say as well, had enough shirt of Adebayo. Adebayo being a massive, over 6 foot massive striker, strong, big boy really, has gone down with a lot of ease. Listen, the game's the game. He's ended up winning a penalty. I thought the ref kind of shouldn't have given this one. I gotta say, I don't think this one was a penalty. Either way, Dion Charles has stepped up and he has scored his third goal of the game, scoring himself a first half hat-trick against Reading. Now, at half-time at 4-1 down, you would think the game is over, especially considering Reading have had a torrid week, an absolutely horrible time. But actually, Reading came out in the second half and were much, much improved. They ended up getting the next goal in the game. It was Sam Smith that scored from a Reading penalty in the 57th minute. This one, I've got to say, I did think was a penalty, so I'll hold my hands up and say, good. Reading, the referee's got a penalty decision 100% correct. Sam Smith, though, had the opportunity. He stepped up and scored his second goal of the season, and after that, Reading continued to attack. There was opportunities where Reading could have scored once again, or at least had a better chance, shall we say, a more attacking threat, shall we say. There was chances for Chem Campbell down the left-hand side. Down the right-hand side. There was chances down the left as well for Kelvin Ehebachaman. Sam Smith on a couple of occasions had a few of his shots blocked. Lewis Wing had shots blocked, and I thought it was just really good, resolute defending from Bolton. And I got to say, in particular, the man who I want to give a little bit of credit to is George Johnson. I thought he did really well in defence today, and I thought he was able to block Reading's shots really well. I got to say, Bolton was still a little bit dangerous on the counter-attack in the first half. They were still, in the first half of the second half. They managed to shoot up the pitch, but Reading were resolute, and I thought Reading were much improved in the second half and could have come away with something. And I've got to say, the key moment for me of the second half was when Kelvin Ehebachaman ended up hitting the crossbar. He hit the bar and it would have made the game 4-3, and I've got to say, Ian Everett was looking a little bit nervous when it was 4-2. If it went 4-3, would the crowd have started to turn on Bolton, especially with the situation they're in at the moment? Would it have started to be a little bit more pressure for the players? Are the players starting to look nervous? Stuff like that. But that's just if, buts and maybes, and that's just football. The ball didn't go in the back of the net. The ball hit the crossbar, and unfortunately for us, the ball did not go in the back of the net. Now, unfortunately for Reading, it ended up being 5-2 after that crossbar incident. Reading had a couple more chances, but once again, some really good blocks from the Bolton defenders. And unfortunately for Reading, it ended up being 5-2. Carl Dempsey scoring from a corner in the 87th minute. And that was how the fixture would end. Reading, after the 87th minute, didn't really create anything. Just a little bit leggy, a little bit tired, and a little bit fatigued after a tough afternoon and a tough result to take. Listen, look, it was a hard game for Reading either way. You've now played Bolton away, Wrexham away, and Birmingham away in your first 6 fixtures or 7 fixtures. So, look, you've got some of the toughest away fixtures out of the way, so there's a bit of a positive to take away from that. I've got to say the second half as well was a positive for Reading. I thought we looked much improved and looked a lot better, but unfortunately the first half is what came to bite us in the arse, as we didn't really look too great. Now, that's going to be it for this video today, guys. The league table is as follows. Reading are 17th in the table. 6 games played, 2 wins, 1 draw and 3 losses. 7 goals scored and 10 conceded with a -3 goal difference with 7 points on the board. Listen, it was a really tough week for Reading, and the result wasn't... listen, at the end of the day, I said it in the preview, the 90 minutes on the pitch don't really matter to Reading at the moment. It's about what's happening off the pitch. So look, it was a bit of a distraction today away from what's going off the pitch, and unfortunately it came out with a 5-2 loss. But look, all credit goes to Bolton. They're probably going to start to kick on now with their season's 2nd win of the year, climbed up now just below Reading in 18th spot. So look, maybe Ian Everett is able to kick their boys on and start to climb up the table where a lot of people predicted them to be at the start of the year. That's going to be it for this one today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. All credit to Bolton. And we'll see you again very soon. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.